crime rate. That is lower, too. Remember, the crime rate has been decreasing already over the last 25 years. So the decrease you see here should not and cannot be attributed to an increase in removing undocumented criminals. Allie.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. I like Allie. I reply to Allie.
You're an Allison.
Allison, Al, really anything.
I see you as someone, you need more titles. I don't want to shorten your name. I'm never going to say it again.
Feel free to use my middle name. Let's talk about the president's promise of a new and improved travel ban and the repeated delays to announce it. Joining us is a great panel. We have Haroon Mogul. He's a senior fellow and director of development at the Center on Global Policy. CNN political commentator Kayleigh McEnany. She's a contributor to The Hill and a conservative columnist at Above the Law. And CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Maria Cardona. Great to see all of you. Kayleigh,
good morning.
When the travel ban was sent down from the Ninth Circuit, we had heard from the White House that they were going to, as quickly as possible, present this sort of new and improved version that would be legal and constitutional. It's been delayed several times. We had first heard last week, then we heard this week, then we heard today. And then the reason that the White House is now giving that it's not being announced today, the new and improved version, is, let me just read to you what a senior administration official said to CNN. We want the executive order to have its own moment, meaning not be eclipsed by the president's speech. Well, that's not about national security. That's about politics.
Sure, that's what one official's saying, but my inclination is that they are still hammering this out. We just got news yesterday they're considering excluding Iraq from the list of 7 countries, and they're smart to do this. Because let's say they were to put this out in a hurried fashion today, or even tomorrow, or even the next day. If it's not finely tailored to what the Ninth Circuit has said, it will be struck down again. We'll have yet another month to wait for a third executive order. They are smart to take their time and ensure that this will pass legal muster.
Haroon, back a month ago, it was urgent that it happen immediately because national security was at stake.
It's a discriminatory policy, and probably this will be a new and improved version of a discriminatory policy, kind of like the address to Congress a few days ago was a more polite version of the same thing that Trump always says, which is somewhere between nonsense and fiction. The problem here, and I think you hit the nail on the head, is that Trump actually has no national security plan. He has none. He's not keeping us safe. He's actually making us less safe.
But he says that this travel ban would make us more safe.
Well, there's no connection between the countries that he's named or potentially seems to be naming and acts of terrorism in the United States. If you actually look at his plan, this is his plan: offend Muslims, alienate our allies, undermine America's standing in the world, something, 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 victory. There's no plan. This is a sideshow. We're all less safe.
But it was Obama discriminating when he targeted the same 7 countries in the visa waiver
You know that's
program?
that's what the Trump White House always comes back to, which is these were the countries identified as hot spots and danger zones by the Obama administration. Quickly, Haroon.
Yeah. It's completely different context, and it was not used in the way that Trump has used it. I mean, if you look at the executive order as it passed, he was basically just trying to cut off entry from these countries for a 90-day period, and it's connected to a policy that he basically put out on the campaign trail, which is stopping Muslim entry to the United States. This was a start. Maybe he used the Obama thing as a feint, but banning Muslims from the country was the original policy that he proposed.
Maria, your thoughts? He's finessing it to get it perfect, or this is a political delay?
First of all, let's remember that the Obama administration never banned anybody from those countries completely, number one. Number two, Allison, of course this is a delay. And frankly, this is a breath of fresh air of honesty coming out of the White House, right? Telling us that they wanted the executive order to have its own moment. They wanted to enjoy the good press that they have gotten from the speech, and they didn't want to step on that. I wish they had said that they were delaying it because they wanted to be more careful, because they wanted to do this in a more deliberate manner. They didn't do that. And so what they're telling us is this is not urgent. This has nothing to do with national security. This is about keeping one of Trump's major campaign promises, which is to implement a complete Muslim ban. And they're trying to do it in the way that it would make it, quote unquote, legal. But his words are going to come back to haunt him. He wanted a complete Muslim ban.
Okay.
That's why it was shut down.
Kayleigh, I know that you see this completely differently, and you do see it as national security, but I want to move on because there was this discrepancy yesterday that I want you to try to respond to, or maybe this was 2 days ago. There was a meeting with anchors of news organizations. And during that meeting, President Trump suggested to them that he was open to finding a way for legal status for the 11 million undocumented immigrants who are here. There were multiple sources that heard him say that. Then, in his address before Congress, he said something quite different and didn't mention that. And why do you think that was that a head fake? Why do you think that there was a discrepancy between his policies?
I don't think so. I think everything President Trump does is done intentionally, and it's all part of a grand bargain. I think what he said to reporters is entirely compatible with what he said in his address. He said to reporters, look, I want some compromise on immigration. He said in his address, I'm targeting criminal illegal immigrants. They need to be out of this country. We need border security.
Right,
That's not
legal status. I mean, because legal status is a real buzzword that gets people's attention. That's something that really gets attention. So when you hear that, you go, whoa, this is a headline. But he didn't mention that.
He didn't mention it, but that doesn't mean it's not on his radar. It doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a grand bargain like he promised to reporters in the end, and I think there will be. He's approaching this reasonably, and what he said to reporters is compatible with his joint address.
Because, you know, Harun, very quickly, there was a White House official who told our Sarah Murray, I just think that was a misdirection play. And the word misdirection play has gotten a lot of attention because what is that other than a head fake?
It's an alternate fact. It's fiction. I mean, it's the same thing he said about the Yemen raid, where he said that there was all this intelligence that came out of this Yemen raid.
But why tell the reporters something that's fiction?
Because it keeps him in the headlines. He's playing with us.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Harun, thank you for explaining that. Harun,
or we can call it a lie, which is what it was. What it was.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, maybe he does believe in legal status. We just don't know that, Maria.
Show it to us. That's what he has to do. You know, what is so astounding to me, Allison, is that everybody is trying to grade him on his words. And what we need to do is grade him on his actions. Thus far, the only thing that we have seen is his draconian deportation forces literally starting to go door to door to deport undocumented immigrants that do not have criminal history. Yesterday, a dreamer was detained. The other day, we saw Muhammad Ali's son detained for several hours because of his name and because he was Muslim.
Panel, thank you very much. Chris.
Thanks, Allison.
Maybe an upcoming CNN reality check. Who is being rounded up and deported versus who we're being told that's happening to. Allison, thank you very much. Did Attorney